frequency, language, understanding. And what that means to me, my perspective, is that language, mind, thoughts has a frequency. The higher the frequency, that means the more positive it is, the more it's from solutions and creation than a victim, problems, and more suffering. And that suffering is because we don't know how to create a solution. So addiction, smoking, or other things, that is the temporary solution to the problem. It means that it's being used every time you feel a certain thing. And every time that same subject or that same feeling rises up, you will get something to avoid, to not feel that which you are trying to mask. And that masking comes with a conflict within the body. Because if you keep smoking, your body is going to be blackened. The hearts, the lung, everything is going to be in a more destructive, negative energy. The more we understand what it's trying to hide, the more we can actually resolve it, enlighten it, become something that doesn't make the same mistakes anymore. By going to the core, you will fix the core problem. And that core problem will then also fix your addiction, or the thing that you use to not feel or to not go to that part of you that you're trying to mask away. So that's what I mean with low frequency self. The low frequency self is the one hiding from its own problem, hiding, pushing away the things it doesn't want to see. So by doing so, it stays in this low frequency vibration. The higher you go, easier it becomes, but there's a challenge. The challenge is, how can I become a version of me that's in a higher frequency? How can I think a certain way in a higher frequency? It means everything I think about myself, about the world, is in higher or lower frequency. So that's why I say the mind is very important to reprogram, to rephrase things that you want to say again. So if I say something in a negative way, in a low frequency way, I have to rephrase that in a better, positive way. The more I do so, the easier it becomes. And then my natural self then can take over. It could say things in a more positive light and look at things in a more objective light, instead of too much to the left, too much to the right, and then extreme or the other extreme, because then you lose focus, you lose the reality out of sight. To come back into the understanding of the mind and how it works and how the frequency changes if you go too much into duality. So duality means left, right, good, evil, bad, good, light, darkness. And once you are in that energy, once you're in that conflict, it's very hard to look outside of that conflict because you're in. And once you're in, you don't see everything outside. So you can't really observe what's going on outside of that conflict. And once you learn how to do so, once you can zoom out and look at the fight and you go like, oh, why are they fighting? What is it that they're trying to say? Once you know what you're trying to say, it means you can really dissect the problem or understand the lesson on both sides of the coin, because it's never about one or the other, because the fight happens because someone, somewhere, both might not have resolved the issue yet, and therefore they cannot come in harmony. And that's within the fight within ourselves, the fight within our partner or with our partner, and with countries, etc., etc. So it's micro level into the macro level, and everything that we do in the micro level might have happened in a macro level. So everything that we know about ourselves, we can also see outside of ourselves in a bigger way, in a smaller way, but eventually you will start to understand every single human being, because you went with yourself into places where you do not lie to yourself anymore, whether it's about envy, whether it's about jealousy, whether it's about sadness, anger, etc., etc. Eventually, if you understand all of that, you would understand another human being pretty well as well. The story is different, emotions are the same. The story is different, but sometimes the story sounds very much the same. It's just that people don't always want to hear that it's the same thing that they're talking about. That's because they're in their ego, trying to win and not trying to listen from the spirit, from non-duality. That's the base of duality and non-duality mindset, and changing the mind and rephrasing yourself in a way where you can actually change the way that you speak, change the way that you act. And let me give you an example. If I touch someone in a bad way, I would stop myself because I'm conscious. Once I'm conscious that I'm doing that, that means I can stop myself afterwards. Or I could say, sorry, that was a mistake. I didn't want that to happen. Let me change that. So And right away, you can change everything. Once you let it pass, the next test will come out. That means it will repeat itself until you change it. And that's what karma is. That's the loop of suffering, is once you understand to step out of that loop and observe that you're repeating something in a cycle, it means you can stop it by now changing your natural self that has learned from someone else to do it that way, whether it's your parents or someone around you that did the same thing, and you just copied it because that's the only way for them to regulate whatever emotion or whatever the thing that they have within themselves. So you just copied it as a child and then you repeated it. But now once you become conscious of it, you can change it. And that's how we can reprogram things.